Hi students, this is Mr. Yao. In this lesson, we will talk about how to add and subtract polynomials. That means I will start using a lot of the polynomial vocabulary that we talked about. If you still have trouble and have confusion about these, please refer to the polynomial vocabulary video. So in order to add and subtract polynomials, we combine like terms. That means we'll first look for like terms, and again, like terms means they have the same variable and same power. So first, for this example 1, let's get rid of the parentheses. Since the plus sign, nothing needs to be changed, so we just copy it down. 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 1 plus x cubed plus 2x squared minus 5x, then plus 3. Now let's look for like terms. I do see this 2x cubed with this x cubed. That gives us 3x cubed together. Next, I do see this negative 3x squared and this plus 2x squared. Remember, the sign goes with the number and the variable. That together is a term. So negative 3x plus 2x, negative 3x squared plus 2x squared, that gives us minus x squared. And next, we have this plus 4x and this minus 5x. That together gives us minus x. And lastly, we have this minus 1 and this plus 3 on the end. That gives us a plus 2. Now that we check, we have x cubed in the front, then x squared, and then x, and then without the variable. It is in descending order and it's standard form. So we're done. Now let's try another example. But this time, it is a negative sign. If you are having trouble with negative sign, I suggest you draw these lines. That would indicate to you that this negative sign needs to go onto every single thing inside the parentheses. First, let's get rid of the parentheses. That's going to be 4x to the 4th power minus 10x minus 2x squared plus 5, then minus 7. The negative and the plus 3x cubed becomes the negative 3x cubed. And then the negative and negative sign together becomes a plus 7x squared. Now we can combine like terms. We have 4x to the 4th. We don't have anything else, so that is just by itself. 4x to the 4th. Next, we have this negative 3x cubed. Again, nothing else has a cube, so that is by itself. After that, we have this plus 7x squared on the end and this negative 2x squared. They can be combined to become plus 5x squared. And if you notice, I have been looking for exponents in descending order because in this case, I can already put my final answer in standard form without changing it at the end. So after we're done with the squares, now we can look for negative 10x. There's nothing else with it, so we just do a negative 10x. And lastly, we have this plus 5 and minus 7. That together gives us a minus 2 on the end. And then we're done. So this method is called horizontal. We basically just lay them all out and use different format or coloring to indicate to ourselves what are like terms. Now let's try a different method, which is the vertical method. In case you didn't notice, we do line up everything by their powers. So for example, the x squared is together with the x squared, and just the x with the x and the number on the end. -4 minus 2, that gives us -6. Please pay attention to the negative sign in the front because we're doing subtracting. Next, we have 3x minus -x. That means this 3x plus x, so that's 4x. After that, we have this 4x squared minus x squared. That gives us a 3x squared. Lastly, we just have this term in the front. That's a -2x. It's already in descending order, so it's standard form. We're done. Let's do one more example on vertical. But this time, we need to set it up by ourselves. When I'm setting it up, I prefer to just do it in standard form already. So I will look for the highest exponent in the front for the first part and the second part. So we will have -3n to the 4th power, and then plus 10n squared, then plus 8n. And then we are subtracting everything on the back, which is 11n to the 4th power. Then we have this 3n squared. And we don't have an n there, so we need to leave a space right there. Then we still have the -7 on the end. I leave a space because we don't have an n, so nothing can line up with the 8n. This way is visually more clear. So now we can start combining. I have nothing on the top, but it's going to be something minus -7 that changed into a plus. So it's going to be a 7 on the end. Next, we have this 8n minus nothing, so it's just a plus 8n. After that, we have 10n squared minus 3n squared. That is going to be a positive 7n squared. And lastly, we have this number in the front, -3n to the 4th power minus 11n to the 4th power. That will give us -14n to the 4th power. So starting in descending order, 4, 2, 1, and 0, we're done. Now let's talk about some applications. First, a geometry application. The perimeter of the trapezoid is 8x plus 18. Find the missing length of the lower base. Everything else is given. In order to calculate the perimeter, we actually need to add everything up. But since we're finding the missing length and the perimeter is given, that means we actually need to subtract every single thing from 8x plus 18. So here's how we set it up. 8x plus 18 minus 2x minus x, then minus 4x minus 3. The reason I put it in parentheses because 4x minus 3 is together. That whole thing is being subtracted. And since there is a negative sign in the front with parentheses, make sure you draw these lines to indicate to yourself that we need to make sure that negative sign goes into everything inside the parentheses. Next step, 8x plus 18 minus 2x minus x. We need to distribute in the negative sign, so it's minus 4x, and then this negative and a -3 becomes a plus 3. Next, we combine like terms. 8x minus 2x minus x minus 4x. That gives us just 1x. We still have this plus 18 and the plus 21. That is a plus 3. That will give us plus 21. Last example, another application. A firework is launched from a platform 6 feet high at a speed of 200 feet per second. The firework has a 5-second fuse. The height of the firework is in feet, is given by the polynomial, where t is the time in seconds. How high is the firework when it explodes? It's asking about when it explodes. It says it has a 5-second fuse. That means it will explode when t equals 5. In case you didn't notice, that 6 feet height is just the number on the end, and that 200 feet is right there. So we don't need to worry about the first sentence. When it explodes, we are calculating the height. All we need to do is replace all the t with 5. So it's going to be -16 times 5 squared. then plus 200 times 5, then plus 6. Negative 16 times 5 squared, that is going to be negative 400, then plus 1000, plus 6. That will give us 606. Don't forget the unit, and that is feet. That's everything about adding and subtracting polynomial. Thank you.